Hi, Mike and Angela. Thanks so much for traveling to see us today.
Hey, great to see you.
Most of our travel is on Zoom, right?
Right, right. But hopefully that's changing, and hopefully y'all can answer some questions that people are having. I know that we did ask our social media followers, as you did as well, on We Married Adventure, and some of the questions that you received were varied, correct? So let's start with kind of a general question, which is about those who are vaccinated and those who are not vaccinated. How do we know where we can travel? How do we know who can travel? And where can we find out?
Well, okay. So first of all, Europe is opening to vaccinated travelers. Let's go ahead and say that. And I think Iceland was the first, and he's kind of followed suit. France, Italy, they're coming online with that too. But if you are not vaccinated, you're not going to be able to go to Europe this summer. That's for sure, and probably not this year. And kind of as Europe goes, so goes the rest of the world. And they're taking the three main vaccines and counting those as valid. So Moderna, Pfizer, and the Johnson & Johnson. So anywhere in Europe, but you're going to have to get vaccinated to be able to do it.
Okay. Well, that's great that Europe is opening to those, and most of us are. But then there are kids that can't get vaccinated below the age of 16, and of course, the whole vaccination situation is of our free will. So for those who can't or don't really feel comfortable getting the vaccination at this time, what are some options we can do?
There's great news when it comes to kids traveling with their families, because the CDC just announced that within the next few weeks, they expect to approve at least one, if not more than one, of the vaccines for children 12 to 15. So if you have older children, then you're going to have a few more travel options. And then there are some countries that have different age limit requirements for who must be vaccinated. So you'll definitely want to check the specific countries you're considering visiting. And we have been doing a lot of road trip travel. We have taken a couple of flights in the past couple of months, but most of our travel has been car trips. We've been doing some car camping all across the US. And I think that you're still going to find a whole lot of people who are more comfortable in their own vehicle with their own family, the ability to be outside primarily and social distance like that. So don't discount all of America's beautiful national parks and state parks and attractions like that are really accessible and very affordable, especially for family travel.
Yes. And speaking of affordable, we want to get out, but budget is probably really tight still. And one of the questions that you mentioned you received were about the skyrocketing prices of rental cars. And those of us who do feel comfortable getting on a plane, oh my goodness, is it going to go back to being $500 a ticket just to go to Louisiana? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what do we do?
Well, let's start with the rental cars first. A lot of people don't realize this, but rental car companies make more money selling used cars than they do renting cars. So, shocker. So what they did, because they weren't renting any cars during the pandemic, they were selling off their inventory. And unfortunately, they've not bought that inventory back yet. And, parts are scarce and car manufacturing's down. And so without that many cars, you are going to pay a premium to rent a car in the United States right now for sure.
But when it comes to flights, though, we're still seeing some really great deals because airlines know that people aren't yet comfortable, and as a general rule, getting on airplanes that enclose space near strangers. So the prices that we're seeing for the next few months are still looking fairly reasonable. And a lot of airlines are still instituting a no change fee policy. Mm-hmm. So if you see a great deal and you think you might be able to travel, go ahead and grab that and then double check their change policy in case something does come up and you're not able to travel, but you still get that great deal in case you are.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So where can we go to find out about the ever changing, rules and regulations that have been put in place?
Well, it's the standard answer, but Google, and I don't mean just Google it, Google's actually come up with a way to specifically address countries opening, and I mean, up to the second kind of information. So if you put in flights, Italy, it's not going to take you to Google Flights, but it's immediately going to take you to the most update information about flying into Italy. And it's going to say whether or not you have to quarantine, and what kind of vaccine you're going to have, and what kind of credentials you're going to have to get to Italy. And so,
then if you've got a test upon arrival, which you still might have to do even if you're vaccinated, depending on your destination.
Yeah. But Google it. And
of course, you can find links on WeMarriedAdventure.com. We've got a clearinghouse there that has the links to the specific spots on the CDC website. We've got a link to Google Travel. We've also got links to some of the resources we use to check for flight updates and these things, because as Mike said, it is changing not just day to day, but sometimes hour to hour as things are starting to reopen.
Well, I'm so glad that there are people like you guys who are just helping some of us who just don't have the time, honestly, to dig around and find out where these answers are and what the questions are. You know, I wonder if maybe we weren't getting as many, you know, on my end, is because I just didn't know what to ask anymore. It's been so long.
It's a little overwhelming right now, but when you have travel nerds like Mr. Mike Ballard, he loves researching this stuff. So you can always go to We Married Adventure. We have started a new Facebook group called How to Travel the World, and Mike gives free travel advice there. I provide some inspirational information. So if you don't know where to start, that's a great community of people who are interested in travel and are all kind of overwhelmed and don't know where to start. We'll point you in the right direction.
Yes, thank you so much for doing that, Mike and Angela. I love your nerdiness. I love your inspiration. I love it all. It's just the best. So thank you so much. And we will hopefully be seeing you in person very, very soon.
Hey, let's do it. Let's get together.
Yes.
All right.